So what we're doing here is a cute little game. Dreamcast has picked out 6 Magic the Gathering cards. I have very minimal Magic the Gathering experience. I've played a little bit in like 2016 or something. 2017, something like that. Yep, good. Shush. So he's going to send me 6 cards, and I'm going to try and guess whether or not they are good cards or bad cards.
Am I just sending you that via our chat?
Yeah, just our chat. Just that way other people aren't getting involved.
Alright, are we recording?
We are streaming.
Currently?
It's live.
Nice. Just to catch people up, because we're not using what we took yesterday with me guessing Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yes.
So I'll very quickly catch people up on my evaluations. So my evaluation of Pot of Desires was that it's just about playable. I was wrong, apparently.
It's very playable.
Apparently Pot of Desires is very, very good. I got Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer right. I thought that was insane. That was really good. That apparently is correct. I got Butterfly Dagger Elmer right. That's kind of shit, but it's banned because of the combo, but on its own it's kind of shit. I thought Lullaby of Obedience was awesome. I was wrong. Same with Goatee of the Deep Beyond. I thought that was really good, and I was wrong again. I got Destiny Board right though. Destiny Board is just as terrible as I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad card.
So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna send off. This is the first card is called Golgari Grave Troll.
Okay. Oh. Alright.
And I'll explain the...
So when it comes into play... Well, it comes into play with a 1/1 counter on it. For each creature in your graveyard. It costs like 5 though, so that's expensive. And then for 1, remove a 1/1 counter to regenerate? What's that mean?
So regenerate is the next time this creature would be destroyed, it instead just lives. Basically,
that's just cost 1, so that's a quick effect. Like if it's about to die, you can be like, boom, it's just got the regenerate now.
You can just spend the mana, remove a +1/+1 counter, and regenerate it so it doesn't die.
What is Dredge?
Dredge. So Dredge is a mechanic. I knew I'd have to explain this because it's a fun one. If this card is in your graveyard, whenever you would draw a card, you can instead mill the number. So you could, for this card, you can mill 6 and put it back to your hand. Mill being putting cards from the top of your library.
Yeah, I know what mill is. And so you mill 6 to put this back to your hand instead of drawing.
Instead of drawing a card,
and that's from your
whenever
grave.
you could draw a card.
I mean,
so
he sounds like
you can mill 6 instead of drawing a card.
He sounds like infinitely recurring arsehole, but also costing as much as it. I can't imagine this card not being at least like each creature card in your graveyard seems like a lot. By the time you're playing it, you should have at least 3 or 4 in your graveyard, and then it's a decently strong card, and it's only going to get stronger as you put more. So you actually, when it regenerates, it'll probably gain strength, right? So what's going on there is
when it comes in, it gets that many counters.
Yep.
That doesn't go up when more creatures go into the graveyard.
No. But when it dies and regenerates, it'll go up.
No, when it doesn't leave the battlefield when it regenerates.
Oh, that's really bad then.
It stays on the battlefield.
Why even regenerate at that
point? It stays
point?
on the battlefield.
You just want to let it die and dredge it back. Honestly, I think just with Dredge, the fact that it's already a bit of a high cost card with the initial effect, which doesn't seem great, but then you let it die, you dredge 6 cards, that's another 3-ish cards, 3 to 4 creatures you're putting in there to get it back to your hand, and it's bigger. So it keeps coming back bigger. I think the regenerate thing is kind of garbage unless you're pushing for game. I think this is a good card.
This card is incredible.
Yeah.
This card is so good that it's banned in Modern, which is one of the higher power formats.
Yeah.
But you were slightly wrong. You never actually cast this card.
Oh, yeah, you get it off a.
So its actual stats are really, really bad.
Yep.
Like 5 mana for something that could be a 3/3 or 4/4.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes this so good is Dredge 6. Because there's a deck in Modern and in Legacy and I think maybe in Vintage, some of the higher power formats called Dredge. And the entire point of the deck is that you put stuff into your graveyard and there are cards that trigger effects when they go into your graveyard. Some cards come back onto the battlefield when they're milled. Some cards come onto the battlefield when something else comes from the graveyard to the battlefield. So you can like having the ability to basically it's
a free mill 6. That's huge. Yeah.
Dredge deck. It's insane.
Yeah.
So this has been banned in Modern, then unbanned, then banned again because it's just too good. Like you could theoretically be on on turn 1, you could be on the draw. You could draw a card, not play a land, discard it, and the next turn you're milling 6 and maybe getting creatures from your graveyard already on the battlefield.
Yep.
Dredge 6 just makes this insane.
Yeah.
But you were right, it is a good card.
Yeah.
So the next one is a counter spell. I think you have some kind of counter stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like negate or something.
Yep. So it's probably a blue card, right?
So, no, actually. Most counter spells are blue, but there are 1 or 2 examples. This is a counter spell in black.
Okay, ooh.
Called Dash Hopes.
If it ever sends through.
If it loads, it is loading slowly. So you're 1 for 1 for now. I'm going to count that as you get it correct.
Okay. When you play Dash Hopes, any player may pay 5 life. If a player does counter Dash Hopes, counter target spell.
Yeah.
Every counter spell gets fucked.
Like.
Okay. Has to be OP.
So 2 for a countering target spell is pretty standard to my knowledge for Magic. It's a pretty standard thing.
The classic counter spell, the card that's literally called counter spell is 2 blue mana to counter target spell.
So, and I think black is a deck that obviously doesn't have a lot of counter, so that's good in itself. But taking out a quarter, your opponent can give up a quarter of their life to stop it. If this was red, that'd be bonkers. That'd be broken if this was red, but it's black. And I think that might mean that this actually isn't that good, because your opponent can just stop you countering.
Okay. Interesting.
Let me try to explain a little thing. So you can counter it yourself?
Yes.
If you want to.
What?
If you really want to lose lines.
Which I can understand can be a good thing. Like, sometimes black does like to play with low life.
Well, the thing is, there are formats of Magic that are more than 2 players. So it's relevant if you're playing a 4-player format, for example.
Yeah. But just looking at it from a standard format, I feel like this isn't that good. Just because your opponent can just turn it off.
Yeah, this is really bad.
Yeah.
This is really, really bad, because it's the same with almost any card in Magic that lets your opponent choose the effect. Is they're always going to choose whichever effect is best for them. So if they really want the spell to resolve, then they're just going to pay the 5 life, and it's basically done nothing. Like, they don't mind paying 5 life to get their best spell. And you've spent 2 mana to do not much. If they don't mind about the spell, then you counter it. There was no point in countering it because it wasn't a big deal to them. If they can't, sometimes you get stuff that they can't pay the 5, but like normally,
I mean, it'd be decent in late game, but at that point you're already winning.
Even then, it's not really decent in the late game because again, they could just pay.
If they don't have the 5, if they don't have the 5, you're securing your win. But at the same time, you can't really determine that you're going to get it at the end game.
Yeah, but even if they're down to 5, you'd rather play another threat or a removal spell or something than this. So the next one is this is a blue spell. It's called Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Okay. Draw 3 cards. Put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Okay, so this is basically just Graceful Charity, except you're not discarding, you're just putting them back on top of your deck. I think this kind of sucks. Like, yeah, look, you get to pick one of your next 3 cards, but... no, actually, no, you're taking all 3 and you just put back 2 of the worst things from your hand. It's hand fixing. This is good. And then especially if you get, like, a search card, you're just shuffling those cards back in, essentially. Yeah, no, I think this is good. Not great, but good.
And this card is incredible.
Yeah, okay.
In Magic. Mostly because the formats that it is legal in, which is Legacy, Vintage, not Pauper, but in Legacy and Vintage, which are 2 of the highest power formats. Fetchlands are also legal.
Yep.
The Fetchland is a land that you play as a land for turn, and you can sacrifice it and search for another land.
Yep.
So what you can do, let's say you have 2 lands in your hand of Brainstorm.
Yep. You draw 3.
Brainstorm.
Put those 2 back.
3, put the 2 lands on the top. Then shuffle. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. That's something I was looking at when I was looking at it. I was like, you just play it with a shuffle card and get those cards out of there if you don't want them.
Yeah, and also in this, those formats are also extremely interactive. So being able to spend 1 blue mana and dig 3 cards into your library, at instant speed is also just really powerful to try and dig for an answer.
Yep.
I didn't catch that at all.
What? I think Joda's just got background noise.
I see, fair enough. But yeah. So yeah, you were right. This is really good.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing in here?
Reviewing Magic cards.
They're just being nerds.
You're making content.
He's trying to evaluate Magic cards. He's doing quite good, actually. He's got
I was joined.
He's got most of them so far. So the next one that I'm going to be sending is which one do I send? I'm gonna send a red card. This is called Tybalt the Fiend-Blooded. Are you aware of how Planeswalkers work in Magic at all?
Yep. Sure am.
You know, if you get a red card, doesn't that mean you can't play anymore?
So the way that Planeswalkers work is that you pay them and they come onto the battlefield and they stay there.
Yep.
With
I know how it works.
the amount of counters equal to the thing at the bottom right there, and these abilities cost that much.
Yep.
So you add 1 loyalty to do the top effect. You take 4 off and 6 off for the other 2.
Yep.
And you can only activate the abilities once per turn on your turn.
Yep. I know how they work. Don't worry. Alright. Tybalt the Fiend-Blood. I can hear you. Can you not hear me? Because I did say multiple times I knew what they did and you kept talking. Sorry, are you not hearing me? You're not hearing me. Is anyone else hearing me?
No.
Yes. No.
Okay. Cool. Well, Jack's just going to have to take my word for it that I got this right. Alright, so the draw a card, discard a card at random kind of seems shit. Deals damage equal to the number of cards in target player's hand to that player. That's okay for red. Gain control of all creatures until the end of the turn. Untap them. They gain haste until the end of the turn. This card is absolute dog water. This is a trash card. The fact of the matter is, look, as great as the Neg 6 ability is, you're not getting it on. You have to live for 4 turns just to be able to get to that without taking damage, because I'm pretty sure damaging it lowers that too. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is never going to happen. It's going to die super
I
quick.
left.
He did. He's trying to fix his mic because he DC'd. Yeah, he's lost connection. There he is. He's
He
back.
goes from. Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Did
We could
anyone-
hear you the whole time.
So you know how Planeswalkers
Yeah,
work? right?
absolutely. I already did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this card is absolute dog water. You're not going to have it stick around on the field for 4 to 5 turns just to make it be able to use the good effect, and the other 2 effects are just really not that good. The draw a card is nice, discarding a card at random is bad. And the dealing damage, it's kind of okay, but that's saying you've just spent 3 turns saving up to not be able to use the good effect, which you're just not going to get. It'll just get removed well before it's able to do it.
Yeah, you're correct. This is regularly voted as being the worst Planeswalker of all time.
Yep.
It's that bad. It's the lowest mana cost Planeswalker. Like, it's the only 2-drop because Planeswalkers are very powerful. They tried to balance it, but it's just a really bad card.
Yep.
The last effect is really good. But
The last effect is great, but it's never happening.
No, exactly. It's never happening because it takes you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5...
4 turns, 5 if you're willing to just sack him for it.
5 turns before you get in the effect. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. For all those turns, you're discarding a random card from your hand. It's like, oh shit, there was my good card.
So, the next one is a card that I might have to explain one of the keywords because I'm not sure which ones you know, but it's self-explanatory enough. So the next one that I'm sending is called Bristlebrand.
Ooh. I feel like I've heard this name. Alright. Flying, lifelink. Cool. So lifelink is when it does damage, you gain that much?
Yes.
Yep. Pay 7 life, draw 7 cards.
And flying is... It
I
can't be
know
blocked
flying.
by creatures that don't have flying. Yeah.
Yep. Well, so the flying is irrelevant here.
8.
It's a 7/7. But it costs 8 to fucking play. Is there something that gets this out for free?
Not for free, but there are ways of cheating creatures
Yeah.
playing Magic.
So
cheating creatures playing Magic.
look, if there's a way to cheat it into play without costing more than 2, then sure, I can see that this would be an amazing card. Pay 7, draw 7 is fucking bananas. Heck, even for 8, pay 7, draw 7 is fucking great. This I can't imagine this being anything but a good card, because as you've seen in Yugioh, we will banish a quarter of our deck to draw 2.
Just to draw 2. Yeah. I thought some of these might be a bit easy, but I wanted to choose some iconic.
Paying a third of your life to draw 7 cards, a whole new hand, that's bananas. I feel like, there's no world that this card can't be good. Even if you do have to, pay 8 for it, sure, you're waiting for a few turns, but it's fucking... That's near game ending at that point. The lifelink and flying are both irrelevant. Look, cool, you get some life back. If he hits, you're getting another 7 cards. That's not a once per turn, is it? I can seriously pay 14 and draw 14, can't I?
If you have the life, you can pay as much life at instant speed, so that's spell speed 2, I think.
Yeah.
So you can pay 7, draw 7 in response to them trying to destroy it.
Yeah, that's bananas. I play this, I'm gonna destroy it.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna pay 14 and draw 14 cards.
Yeah, so this was an easy one. This card's one of the most powerful creature cards in Magic.
When you said Grizzlebrand, I was like, I'm sure I've heard that name. I heard someone mention it.
There's been several decks that can cheat this into play.
Yep.
Legacy, for example, has a deck called Reanimator, which can cheat this into play from the graveyard as early as turn 1.
Nice.
They can get this out turn 1, draw 7 cards, play some more cards, gain some life, draw 7 more cards, reanimate another thing.
Yeah.
Reanimation, it's like a...
Yeah.
Okay. is just like reanimation is just like bringing something back from the graveyard. Like there's a card that you can hold into for 1 black mana, which puts a creature from your library into the graveyard, and then there's a card called Reanimate, which brings it from the graveyard onto the battlefield for 1 black mana as well.
Demon Scyther.
So for like an entire 2 black mana, you can put this 2 black mana and 7 life. You can put this on the battlefield.
Yeah. See,
so yes, this is incredible.
Third form.
And then once you start drawing cards, you can play free spells. You can play ritual effects that gain you more mana, and then you can reanimate more stuff.
Yep.
It's just a ludicrous deck.
Alright, what's the last card?
Alright, the last card is another blue card. It's called Temporal Mastery.
Temporal Mastery.
And thankfully it explains what Miracle does for me.
Yeah. Okay, if it's the first card you drew this turn. Okay. So that's if you draw it for turn, usually. Unless you have something that stops you drawing for turn. But take an extra turn after this one. I actually think, right, I'm pretty sure the small stint that I played this game, that I played against someone that was playing a modern deck or a legacy deck of some sort, that I'm pretty sure they used this. They like comboed off for a turn and then played this and then comboed off for another turn and won. And it was like, cool. Or they like played 3 of this and like just kept taking extra turns. And I was like, yeah, what a fun card. So I'm sorry, this is good. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is ridiculous. You can fucking pay it for 2. Yeah, this is insane.
I am so sorry.
Oh no, I got one wrong.
This is not very good. It's not bad, but it's not very good, because the issue is you have to be drawing it for the first time.
Well, otherwise you just pay 7,
mana,
right? Paying 7's fine. That's like your entire turn's worth of mana.
7's exactly. So then you're doing nothing on that turn. So there's no point in taking an extra turn.
Yep.
So 7 mana is way too much for an extra turn spell anyway. So basically, if you draw it at your starting hand, it's as if you've drawn 6 cards.
Okay,
because
but
you're never casting that.
No, because that's fine, right? Just use Brainstorm, right, and then put this on top of your deck.
You can do,
and then next turn you win.
It's not worth. It ends up just not being worth the hoops to go around.
Yeah. No, I
just for an
understand
extra
that.
turn. An extra turn is a powerful. An extra turn is very powerful, but even decks that are centered around playing miracle cards, because this doesn't add to the board in any way. You're going through all these hoops and it doesn't even add to the board, it just adds you an extra turn.
Yeah, which you use the extra turn to add to the board.
But again, you're doing this and it's not actually really doing anything.
Yeah.
If you get this in the early game, sure, it's a little bit of tempo. It's decent, but you'd have to be drawing it specifically on like turn 2, which is unlikely. Or you draw it in the late game and it's not really having much of an effect. Decks that run specific, like it's not bad. Like it has been in some decks that play miracles, but the majority of miracles decks don't run this card. Not because it's bad, but because there are just better miracle cards. There's a card, for example, that's 1 white and X to make X 4/4 angels with flying. Which is just much better. You'd much rather you'd much rather spend 4 mana and get like 3 flying 4/4s than spend 2 mana and get extra turn. But you weren't far off. It's, as I said, it's a decent card. It's just not busted amazing. There are some extra turn cards that are incredible. This is basically a fixed version. This is basically a fixed version of Time Walk, which is one of Magic's best cards, which is literally 2 mana take an extra turn.
That might be the one I'm thinking of that the dude fucking played against me.
It could be. It could also be. There's quite a lot of extra turn cards. This is just one of like a dozen.
Cool.
I'll have to try and think of some more difficult examples if we do this again. But yeah, nicely done. I thought I tripped you up with Brainstorm. I'm going to be honest. For a second there, you were saying, "Oh, this isn't very good."
It's like,
I was like, oh,
yeah, at first. Then I was like, no, it doesn't have to be
be.
those that you draw. It can be anything. So yeah, that fixes it up quite easy.
Oh,
But-
I have one more.
You have one more.
Just because it's funny.
Seven of the 6. Let's go.
This is mostly to watch you try and read the card, because
It's good.
I'll show you. It's really funny. Okay, there we go. I'm even sending you the original version, which has specifically worded.
I haven't done
ridiculous
the
text.
problem-solving card deck. Jesus Christ, this is crazy.
So it's pronounced Shahrazad, I think, or Shahrazad or something.
Yeah, this is from one of those joke sets, I swear. Players must leave the game in progress as it is and use the cards left in the libraries and decks with which to play a sub-game of Magic. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen this. When the sub-game is over, players shuffle these cards, return to their libraries and resume game in progress. With any loser of sub-game halving his or her remaining life points, rounding down, effects that prevent damage may not be used to counter this loss of life. The sub-game has no anti... using less than 40 cards may be necessary. Man, this is so old. It was back when they had 40 card decks.
It's back when there was anti in Magic, which was like when they first started the game. One funny thing with this is that
this card's dog shit.
If you have 2 players who both run 4 copies of this, you can have a sub game within 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 a sub game. Like as many times as you can cast this card, you can have a sub game within there. So this card, there's a vintage specifically is a format that basically has no ban list. This card is banned in vintage. Not because it's too powerful.
It's just ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not because it's too powerful, but because people would play 4 copies of it, and matches would go to time in game 1.
Yeah. That's
because they'd be playing like a sub game within a sub game. And like they've never actually finished the first match. Because it's normally like an hour to play 3 games or something like that.
Yeah.
But you're actually playing 4 games, like within each other. So like you basically just abandon this match, play a new one with your library that you have at the moment, and then you lose half your life if you lose the match. Some people, I would probably be tempted to just concede the sub game and lose half my life rather than dealing with it. But yeah, so that's fun. That's a fun one that I just thought of and had to show you.
No, I've seen that on some like just things that are just like the most ridiculous Magic cards. This